Welcome to Coffee Affidavits. I'm your host, Colin. It's just me today. No guests. Welcome. Thanks for coming. On a show called Coffee Affidavits, you need a cup of coffee. Today I got this one from my sister-in-law, Nicole. It says, I would fight a bear for you, brother-in-law. Well, not a grizzly or a black bear or a panda, but maybe a Care Bear. I'd fight one of those sons of bitches for you.
What kind of bear is best?
That's a ridiculous question.
False. Black bear.
I am Colin Piazza, private investigator, founder, and CEO of Social Sleuth. And this is our show, Coffee and Affidavits. We talk about all things legal, jury research, and we'll probably go off on some tangents, but should be a good show. We're going to talk about PI work today, social media investigations, jury research, all that kind of stuff. So should be good. I'll share some tips, tricks, and all the things going on with Social Sleuth. In the cup of coffee today, I got a couple shots of espresso. I like the Nespresso machine. Not sponsored, but I live on espresso. But I mean, lots of different coffee you can have, right? You got the French press. Always a good solution if you have some time in the morning. The drip, always good. And you're into the Starbucks or the mixed drinks, all that kind of stuff. Can't go wrong. I'm an espresso person myself. I like to just have a couple of shots throughout the day. Kind of keeps me dialed in. What do we got going on at the old Social Sleuth? We're building out our strategic partner network, which is going really well. And so we have a lot of different PI and trial consulting firms and law firms we work with. And so we're expanding our reach across the country right now and finding new partners who want to integrate our services under their brand. And that's the cool thing about what we do. Big into growth through collaboration. And, so there's two schools of thought when it comes to business, competition or collaboration. And we're in the collaboration camp. I think it's a better way to go when it comes to building a brand. If you're in a shared space with other companies, there's always a lot of firms and companies in a space. And I find you can actually grow quicker by collaborating and sharing resources and finding ways to work with each other. But there's a lot of people out there who don't agree with that kind of philosophy, and they get all worried when you encroach on their space or their clientele, their region, all that kind of stuff. So Social Sleuth, we're big into collaboration, but competition's your game, then we'll see you out there. Jury selection. Summer is kind of traditionally a slow season for the legal services sector. But we've been keeping pretty busy. We've had some kind of bigger projects with the company, a lot of social media investigations, social media reports, and a ton of stuff cooking for trials in July, August, into the fall. June slowed down a little bit. I'm sure, people taking family trips, that kind of thing, but we're really cooking a lot of big trials. I wish I could tell you what they were, because that's one downside of what we do with the company is we can't really talk about anything because of confidentiality.
The first rule of Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club.
But we've been involved in so many major cases over the last few years. Everything from politics to the music industry, celebrities, Fortune 100 companies, everything under the sun. We've been kind of quietly behind the scenes. And so I wish we could get into it maybe one day, but no, we can't. Got to keep those matters confidential. Anything intelligence related, same deal. But we're excited about that. Feeling pretty good. So it's always nice to be part of those kind of things. It feels like you can actually have an actionable difference on the outcome of a trial or a litigation related matter. And we work with some higher net worth individuals as well, helping with cases for more traditional PI work stuff as well to a lesser extent. I like to kind of take on select cases where we can provide value. And so, if it's a good fit, it's something we can look at consulting on and helping. Private investigations, it's a funny thing outside of social media research. PIs, I've seen are, it's not a catch-all term when it comes to investigative work. A lot of people use the term private investigator, but it's kind of a broad skill set when it comes to expertise and the specific services you're into. Let's take a little espresso shot. And so I come from a law enforcement background. I was a homicide detective. And when I was with the police department, I did a lot of different stuff with the gang task force and intel. And I think law enforcement gives you more of a traditional approach to investigations because you have formal training and then you just have so many reps every day, going to calls, writing search warrants, setting up containment. And then you work with a lot of special units. And our department did a lot of like pretty in-depth report writing and stuff, and certainly in the detective units and stuff like that. So that sets you up for success. But if you're more in, the insurance defense surveillance capacity, maybe you don't need the wide breadth of experience for investigative techniques or witness interviews and stuff like that. But I think it does give you a broader foundation if you do come from that background. But I'm sure I'm going to get trolled. But that's my thought. It kind of gives you a broader expertise there, but everything's different. I mean, even if you don't do a lot of report writing or interviews or evidence collection or like criminal defense investigations, if you're just focused on, infidelity, surveillance, insurance defense, that kind of thing, there's still a learning curve when it comes to setting up surveillance, and PDO's pre-raid intelligence, that kind of thing. But same with surveillance. I mean, you want to know where to set up and your target and what you're looking for and stuff like that. So there's an art to every element of it. And I'd say if you're looking to hire a PI, whether you're a law firm or an individual, you want to kind of look at their background and make sure you're finding the right fit for your case. And so someone who specializes in surveillance may or may not be ideal for more of a consulting role when it comes to investigations, high profile, high value trials or higher value litigation. But if it's something simple and it's an infidelity case and you need someone to set up surveillance or insurance defense because it's a simple injury, then maybe you can go on the more of an entry level person in the field, and that might be okay, right? And so it's all about finding the right fit, the right tool for what you're trying to accomplish there. But I think it's good to have a diverse background. And so we do the social media research, cyber investigations, trial research, and then I also have the background for the pretty advanced skill set for investigations and cold case, person locates, all that kind of stuff. So good to have that totality of experience. All right, let's jump into social media investigations. That is our bread and butter of what we do is social sleuth, social media research, investigations for litigation support, insurance defense. We do juror backgrounds, all that kind of stuff. And so if you're not using social media investigations for jury research or for litigation support or when you onboard a case for your law firm, you're really getting behind the times pretty quickly. Social media, it's not supposed to be a replacement for everything. And so with social media research and investigations, it's not meant to replace surveillance. It's not meant to replace a witness interview. It's not supposed to replace any kind of litigation due diligence that you would do traditionally when you onboard a case. The same thing with jury research. It's not going to replace traditional methods of mock trials or case framing, any of that kind of stuff. But it's a cog in the wheel when it comes to strategy. And so it's very important for law firms to integrate these services into, pretrial intelligence. When they onboard a case, they should be monitoring the witnesses, companies related to the case. If you're going into a business space, it's always good to do a competitor analysis, all that kind of stuff. There's many facets of social media investigations, and it's a wide umbrella. But if you're in the legal space and you're not doing it now, I would set up a consultation with us because it's very important. And, it's important for your clients too, right? The onus for an attorney is to conduct that due diligence, right? The more information, the better. Information turns into intelligence when you vet pieces of evidence, when you go beyond scraping the surface. Don't trust the initial report. If you're looking at a criminal investigation, don't just read the report. Okay, what did the witness interview say? I would recommend, pulling the 911 tape and pulling the body worn camera and reviewing what was actually said, because a lot of those statements, they often get summarized. And so it's the same thing with social media investigations. You can kind of go wider, and it gives you more informed strategy. One of the big takeaways I saw last year at a presentation was having these kind of services showcases to your clients or potential clients that your firm is innovative. And so customers and clients for legal matters, they're getting smarter, right? It's the informed consumer. And they want to find firms or strategic partners, if you're working with another company, that showcases that you know what you're doing, that you're utilizing new tools up to the latest trends. If it's AI related stuff, which I know, boom, there's a trigger warning. That's a hot button topic for the legal world. But whatever tool it is, I mean, if it's case management software, all that kind of stuff, you want to be using the most up-to-date tools and incorporate that into your brand. So it's paramount that a brand embraces innovation. There's a classic story with Netflix when they started out. They were building their platform, and back in the day, they would have a rental service for anyone who didn't know, and they'd mail you the DVD, and then you'd watch it, and then you drop it off somewhere. And so it wasn't as disruptive at the time as their platform is now to the movie industry. But as they were gaining traction with their company, they approached Blockbuster, which, man, I used to love going into those movie rental stores. I'm a movie buff, so I love renting movies and watching it and streaming. Streaming's amazing. And, they approached Blockbuster and to try and sell or get acquired by Blockbuster. And I think they wanted $50 million. And of course, that sounded like a lot. I'm sure it was back then, and still is,
$1 million.
But, they got laughed out of the office. And of course, Blockbuster's gone, and Netflix is a machine now. And so that's where you want to be kind of cognizant of those trends and embrace that tech. Again, it's not about replacing what you're doing. It's about supplementing. So, that's the kind of foundational spiel on social media research and investigations. I'm biased though. So what can I tell you? So take it with a grain of salt, but it is the truth.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
I wanted to give a quick shout out to our clients and our team at Social Sleuth and our different partners that we work with. The CEO and the founder is just a small little piece of the puzzle. Sure, you get the ball rolling, you got to keep that momentum and all that kind of stuff. But really, a company wouldn't exist without customers. And it wouldn't exist without a team actually executing and keeping your brand quality up and day in, day out. And so that's what it's all about. And I think you kind of forget about that sometimes when your head is in the sand and you're building a business and you're hustling and grinding, developing your products and all that kind of stuff. And you forget to kind of slow it down and just be appreciative of the people who have helped build this thing. And so early adopters and people who have taken this company to the next level, and anyone out there looking to become a client or a strategic partner, we're excited to work with you, going back to that growth through collaboration, and that's really how our team works too. It's really a networking, very client focused with everything we do with our products and our customer service. It's a big part of what we do. And so I think that's a good mission for the brand. In the early days when we were trying to onboard people, I would get the question of, what's your company culture like? And when I started the company, it's, who knows, right? Company culture when you have 3 people.
Stallions. Each one more magnificent than the last.
But as we've grown, it's really client focused, customizable research. high standards for what we're doing. I think a lot of people in the space kind of cut corners and focus on that quick fix for research or whatever you're doing. And you really want to push your brand to the next level, right? That kind of goes back to the old PI thing of not all are equal or PD. Even with police, I've pulled my fair share of reports when doing research, reviewing stuff for cases, and you know what one department might do on the front end of a case might be a paragraph report, and what other department might do might be 16 pages of reports and witness statements and evidence. So push to be the best you can and push towards that 16-page report. Don't be that one paragraph investigative report. And same thing with jury research. You know, you go back to those traditional investigative methods of tracking who you talked to, what was said, when it was said, why it's relevant. And that's what you need to do through investigations, whether it's jury research or traditional investigations. Don't scrape the surface. Don't cut corners on writing, all that kind of stuff. Push to have the highest quality content you can. So that's what we got going on with social media research. Now, here's something I get a lot, which is, why is research speed important when doing social media investigations for jury research? Why is speed important? Speed is a huge factor when conducting jury research. I put together a few reasons why. I mean, jury selection can be very fast moving. So that's number one. Often trial teams, especially for federal trials, they move real fast. So like 2 to 3 hours, they don't get the juror information until the day of while they're conducting voir dire, and then they have to make decisions. And this can be a 2 or 3 hour window. So when you're doing jury research and you have your trial team together, you need those systems in place to move really fast. And that's something we've developed over the last few years, is those different systems, the way we conduct research and summarize information needs to be comprehensive, like we were just talking about, right? To make sure you have actionable intelligence. But your system needs to be streamlined that you can actually move quickly to get the trial team the information they need. And so that's why speed is important. Number two, jury panels range from 50 to 500 jurors. And so the quicker your trial team completes research on a full panel, the quicker you can make those informed decisions on who to select for that trial. Put your intelligence to work after you review those reports and select the right jurors. And, here's a key takeaway. The best selection is deselection. And so that's an important piece of the puzzle. It's not always about finding that ideal juror profile. Sometimes it's about deselecting the people who don't fit. Recently, a lot of talk about bias. A lot of trial consultants hate the B word, the bias word, or they want to say, oh, we want to get rid of, bias informed, selection criteria and stuff like that. Yes, that's fine. You want to make a fair and impartial jury and blah, blah, blah. The truth is you want to select the best jurors for your case that's going to give your trial team the best chance of winning that trial. So whatever way you want to frame it for, equal and impartial jury, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, those might be great talking points for your website. The truth is you want to find the best jurors that's going to give your trial team the best chance at winning. That's the key takeaway. So I'll just put my stamp on it. That's the truth. But you can frame it in any way you want to. Juror backgrounds are only one piece of the puzzle when it comes to trial strategy. So the quicker you knock out those social media reports, the quicker your team can get back to the other cogs in the wheel: case framing, witness preparation, opening and closing statements, all that kind of stuff. Ton of moving parts when it comes to a trial. And I love jury research and social media investigations. Highly effective, very important. But it's one piece of the puzzle, right? And it's a big wheel and everything works together. And if it's working together, then your trial team is doing something really important and you're going to work well. So if you have any questions on anything we've covered so far, get a hold of Social Sleuth, set up a free consultation. We're really the industry standard when it comes to social media investigations. And that's why we say if it's there, we'll find it. All right, here's 3 tips to better prepare for a jury trial. All right, better prepare the jury research team for your trial. it's all about preparation. And so preparation is the key when it comes to business. If you're on the street as a cop, if you're setting up surveillance on a house, if you're going to contact someone for an interview, when it comes to trial research, preparation is very important. So here's some stuff I've kind of put together over the last few years of building this company. Have a pre-trial planning meeting. Very important. It can be Zoom. It can be a phone call. It can be email correspondence going back and forth. It doesn't really matter, right? Whatever fits. I know people have a lot of stuff going on, so it doesn't have to be one or the other. But get together with your key points of contact and go over the case. What's everyone looking for? What's the timeline? What's the deadlines? Deadlines are very important to dial in on when it comes to legal research. What might mean, if someone says, I need it back quickly. To one lawyer, quickly might mean like 3 weeks, right? And then quickly to another lawyer might need within the hour, or a trial consultant, whoever you're working with. So hammer down on those details. The better you can figure out those details on the front end, then you can provide more value to your customers. Go over the report format. How do you want something to look? We're really customizable with Social Sleuth on how we do reports. But figure it out. Do you want the juror profile photo up top? Do you want it real clean? Do you only want a narrative so it's really easy to print? Do you want it more expansive that, for a visual trial team? And there's a lot of different, formats you can do. We have Juror Search, which is a cloud app. We often do PDF, Word document reports. Those are great if you're going to print, share them around. You want that kind of one report that you can review one by one. There's a lot of different options. We do, big Google Sheets and Excel, and that's a big thing too. We had a huge political trial last year, not the most recent one, but the one before that. Maybe you can connect the dots. And there was like 600 jurors with that. And for that one, we did a big spreadsheet. And so it's different for the trial team who you're working with. I love Juror Search myself. But whatever works, that's what you want to do, right? Whatever works for your end client. Point of contact. Who's the point of contact on the day of the trial? Is that going to change, or is there more than one person? Communication is so important, right? And so, especially with trials, it's always very fluid. And even when you have everything planned perfect, stuff changes at the last second. So who's the point of contact? Do you have an alternative means of communication if they're not returning an email? The more effective communication you have, the faster you're going to be. And the faster you are, you're going to better serve your trial team. So prepare, utilize good communication. Unfortunately, communication is a two-way road, right? So kind of both parties need to be on board with the fast communication. I really push our team to have laser quick communication when dealing with customers. I keep my phone on me 24 hours a day. That's why I always respond basically immediately. And that's very important. So that's, a key foundation of our company culture. Going back there again, timeframes, we talked about deadlines, we talked about the fluid and chaotic nature of jury research. So there's a couple of things we talked about, right? PIs, there's a wide scope of expertise and specific services, and you just got to find the right tool for what you're working with, your specific case. And social media investigations, we talked about speed and a comprehensive service. You can have a comprehensive and in-depth investigation while still having a concise and fast report. You can mix those two things together, and that's how you really provide value, right? If you have any questions, concerns, anything, you want to tell me what kind of coffee I should drink next time, shoot me a note, info@socialsleuth.com. Our schedule's filling up quick for the summer, and I'm sure we'll be slammed come fall and well into the new year. So hit us up early, anything you need, class actions, jury research, a one-off report for that insurance defense, whatever you got, hit us up. And even if you don't want to work together, I'm sure I can point you in the right direction. And if you want to become a strategic partner for our company, take a look at our website. You can go over to the strategic partner section. Shoot us a note. Love to hop on a call with you, see if we can work together, and let's grow our businesses together in a collaborative format. I'm Colin Piazza. This is Coffee and Affidavits. Have a great day.